Hi everybody, it's Nikki here and welcome to a bookish video. Say it with me now. It's bookgammon time. Yes, it is that time of the month where I play my TBR game Bookgammon, which is based off the board game Backgammon, to help me pick my TBR for the upcoming month. Today we are picking for October, the spooky season. So let me put this down and let's get into the housekeeping first. So as always, let's start off with the priority picks. These are the books that are on my current TBR, so my September TBR, that I don't think I'm going to get to before the end of the month. The only one from Bookgammon that I didn't get to this month is Lady Midnight by Cassandra Clare. She a chonker, so don't come at me. I was having some issues with audiobooks in the month of September via Scribd, because Scribd is having an issue at the moment. So because I was going to listen to this on audiobook, even though the audiobook is on Audible, not Scribd, I kind of just got annoyed with audiobooks, so I just decided I didn't want to listen to this one. I was done with audiobooks for September. I got so annoyed. So yeah, I didn't get to this one because I'm petty. That's why I didn't get to it, because I'm petty. So there's that one. And the other two were from my Bookoplathon TBR, so technically they shouldn't be priority picks, but the first one is The Mermaid Core by Alex Cotter. I might still get to this one, who knows. It's only a middle grade, so I might be able to fit it in the last couple of days of the month, but I'm hitting a bit of a reading slump, so I want to take it a little easy on myself for the last few days of the month, so I don't want to push myself too hard. So I'm going to put it as a priority pick. And then the other one is The Book Eaters by Suni Dean. I also didn't get to this one, but that is because I changed this book out for another book to fulfill the prompt that this one filled. So in my Bookoplathon TBR, the Book Eaters fulfilled the prompt with a building on the cover, and there was a different book that I ended up reading for that prompt. So I didn't get to this one, but it's still technically a priority pick for October. Next bit of housekeeping is our tokens. So we have our Bomb Book token and our Star Book token. So my Bomb Book for October is going to be a thriller. This is Midnight Sun by Joe Nesbo, and even though it is a short book, the reason why this one is a bomb book is because Joe Nesbo has been a kind of hit and miss author for me. I loved The Snowman. The Snowman really creeped me out, and I absolutely loved and adored that book. Then I DNF'd was it Batman or something by him? Let's see if there's The Bat, not Batman. So The Bat by him, which was his first novel, I believe, in the Harry Hole series. And I think this one is a sequel to The Blood on Snow, which I read earlier this year, and I was kind of like, it was okay, kind of with it. So I've loved, DNF'd, kind of okayed 3 of his books. So I don't know what to expect from Joe Nesbo anymore. I don't know if I'm going to love it, hate it, or just think it's okay. So that is why it is my bomb book for October. My star book, however, for October is another kind of thriller, kind of spooky read, because we are coming into October. It's The Wicker King by Kay Ancrum. I really wanted to get to this. I think it was in my August TBR, but I didn't get to it because we had heat waves in August, and I didn't feel like that was the right environment. I'll get my teeth out in a minute. I didn't feel like that was the right environment to be reading a spooky sort of thriller, kind of psychological, pages get blacker and blacker the further through the book you go, kind of story. So I'm bringing it back as my star book for October, because hopefully I will be in the right environment and the right mood to read this now. So that is my star book for October. So with all of that done, let's get into the gameplay and see what Bookgammon has in store for me for October. I will say I am going to take it easy on myself for gameplay this month. As I said, I am hitting a bit of a reading slump, so I'm only going to play with one piece on the board, which means that any doubles I roll will have me moving backwards, whereas normally the rule with doubles is even numbers I move forward and odd numbers I move backwards, but when I only play with one piece, it's all doubles move me backwards. So there is that to take into account, but yeah, let's get to gameplay and see what she has in store for me. So before we start, let's remind ourselves of the categories. We have red for thriller, pink for contemporaries, orange for classics, green for middle grades, yellow for graphic novels and mangas, purple for non-fiction, and blue for fantasy and sci-fi. So before we start, let's remind ourselves of the categories. We have red for thriller, pink for contemporaries, orange for classics, green for middle grades, yellow for graphic novels and mangas, purple for non-fiction, and blue for fantasy and sci-fi. We have our prompt cards here, so let's give them a shuffle. And we have our bomb book and star book to place. So let's place the star book first. Number 17. So the star book will be going on this middle grade space, and the bomb book will be placed on number 15. So they're going to be very close together again this month. 17, 15. So the bomb book is going to be on this contemporary space. So we have our 2 die. We have our die shaker. So let's go for number 1. So that is 2 and a 1, so that is 3. 1, 2, 3. So we've landed on a classic. And the prompt for this is love to see the live show. So many classics have been made into musicals, so I just have to pick a classic that I would love to see as a live show. It could be also a classic that hasn't been made into a musical, but I would love to see it as one. So it could just be that as well. Roll number 2. Oh no! It's double 1. So that means we have to go backwards 2. No, we have to go backwards 1, sorry. 1, so that is a middle grade. So the prompt for this one is a body part in the title. So it could be head or arm or leg or wings or something like that. So yeah, it doesn't have to be a human body part. It could be a mythical body part or anything like that. So yeah, it could even be something like tails of so and so and so and so, because a tail is part of an animal. So yeah. Roll number 3 is 2 and a 3, so that's 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Another classic. So the prompt for this one is set pre-1900s, so that's pretty self-explanatory. Roll number 4. No, not again! Oh. So we have double 5, so we have to go back again 5 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, back where we started. So middle grade is childhood fave. So I read a lot when I was a youngster. So can I find a book that I loved as a kid and reread it again? Please. Roll number 5. We haven't got off this side of the board yet. 9, great. So that's 6 and 3, 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. A fantasy. Or a sci-fi. I keep forgetting that it's fantasy or sci-fi. And the prompt is to read a sci-fi. Roll number 6. We're going to land on any of these. 10. Ooh, 6 and a 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we bypass them, but I will leave them on the board just in case I have to go backwards again. But we've landed on a fantasy, so the prompt for that is an adult fantasy. And will this be our last roll? Roll number 7. Yes, it will. So 5 and a 4 is 9. So 1, 2, 3, and we're home. So that is it. We did not land on the star book or the bomb book. So that is gameplay over for another month. So that was the gameplay. Not too bad. She wasn't too mean to me. So let's get straight into it. Our first roll gave us a classic, and the prompt for that was I'd love to see the live show. Now, I am trying to pick more spooky books for October, so I was thinking of maybe rereading Dracula. However, as I say, it would be a reread, so instead I decided to go for something different. And I decided I would be picking up Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde by Robert Louis Stevenson. This book was gifted me by the lovely Charlotte, my good friend, who I buddy read every month with. This is the, is it the Barrington? Yeah, Barrington Stoke edition. So this edition is great for people who have maybe dyslexia or trouble reading, as the pages are yellowed and thicker so that you don't get the ghosting from the type on the opposite page, and the line spacing is wider as well. So it's a lot better for people with dyslexia or who have difficulty reading to read. I did buddy read with my husband a Barrington Stoke edition of A Christmas Carol a couple of years ago, and we thoroughly enjoyed it. And Charlotte bought this copy for me in the hopes that I could maybe buddy read this with my husband. Now, I have spoken to him about putting this onto my TBR for October and whether he wants to buddy read it with me. At this moment in time, he doesn't want to. He's not a massive reader. He isn't a reader at all, let's face it. He'd rather play on his PlayStation. But I think he wants me to read it first, and then maybe at a later date we can buddy read it together. But he's just not in the mood to buddy read with me now, which is a shame because I was really looking forward to doing that with him. But yeah, so this, the Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde is first on my list. Our second roll was a middle grade, and the prompt for that was a body part in the title. There was only one book on my middle grade shelf that had a body part in the title. Inkheart by Cornelia Funk. How is this a children's book? She's huge. She is 543 pages. Oh, why? This is a story about Maggie, Maggie, sorry, who loves stories but her father Mo hasn't read aloud to her since her mother's mysterious disappearance. But when a stranger knocks at their door, Mo is forced to reveal an extraordinary secret. As he reads aloud, words come alive and dangerous characters step out of the pages. And suddenly Maggie is living the kind of adventure she has only read about in books, but this one will change her life forever. I think I've seen the film of Inkheart. And I was deeply interested in it, or I've seen parts of it, but I would really like to read the story. So although she's a chonker, and I did say I wanted an easy month of reading, it was the only book that had a body part in the title on my middle grade shelves. So we are reading Inkheart. Our third roll got us a classic, and for that one I need to read something that was set pre-1900s. So for that one I have checked, and this is Tales of Unease by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. These are the Tales of Mystery and the Supernatural Wordsworth editions, which are absolutely gorgeous. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Anyway, this says, this gripping set of tales by the master storyteller Arthur Conan Doyle is bound to thrill and unnerve you. In these twilight excursions, Doyle's vivid imagination for the strange, the grotesque and the frightening is given full rein. We move from the mysteries of Egypt and the strange powers granted by the Ring of Thoth to the isolated ghostlands of the Arctic in the Captain of the Pole Star. We encounter a monstrous creature in the terror of Blue John Cap, and the beings that live above our heads in the Brazilian cat and the leather funnel. And we shudder at the thing in the next room in lot 249. Sit down in your uneasy chair and enjoy this unique collection of chillers. So these are short stories basically, so I'm going to try and read sort of like one between every book that I read to try and get through it, because I feel like with short stories sometimes if you try to read them all in one go, like not all in one go, but if you read them one after the other without something else in between them, then it just doesn't, I don't enjoy them as much is what I'm saying. So yeah, there is that, Tales of the Unease by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. Roll number 4 got us a middle grade, and the prompt for that was a childhood fave. Now, although this book is actually the prequel to the book that I read as a child, I will be reading The Animals of Farthingwood, The Adventure Begins by Colin Dann. And as I say, I read The Animals of Farthingwood as a child and thoroughly enjoyed it. And when I saw this book, I decided to pick it up, thinking, oh, that's the book I read as a kid. Only to realise it's not, it's a prequel to the book that I read as a kid. So, oopsies. But yeah. So up to now the animals in Farthingwood have lived peacefully side by side, but when the stream runs out of fish and the otters are forced to hunt on land, the foxes aren't happy. The otters are taking valuable prey and their carelessness is making the other animals angry. Lean Vixen is determined to protect her family, but her plan puts them all in terrible danger. It is a middle grade, and what I also love about this is right at the back we have some like little quizzes and things and stuff to sort of read as well, and there's a really floppy paperback which I really like. So yeah, I'm going to be reading that one. Roll number 5 gave us a fantasy, and for that one, no, put that on the wrong one. Put it on the wrong pile. Roll number 5 gave us a fantasy, and for that one it was a sci-fi. So for that, I decided I would like to read Vox by Christina Doucher. So it looks like this, which is really cool. And it says, Jean McClellan spends her time in almost complete silence, limited to just 100 words a day. Any more and 1,000 volts of electricity will course through her veins. Now the new government is in power, everything has changed, but only if you're a woman. Almost overnight, bank accounts are frozen, passports are taken away, and 70 million women lose their jobs. Even more terrifyingly, young girls are no longer taught to read or write. For herself, her daughter, and for every woman silenced, Jean will reclaim her voice. This is only the beginning. Sounds very much like The Handmaid's Tale. And I'm extremely interested in this, especially as when I was picking this out, I just had a quick read of the first page and already it captured my imagination and my interest. So yeah, I will be reading Vox by Christina Doucher. Thought very spooky, kind of creepy, kind of sci-fi for October will be perfect. And our last roll, we got a fantasy again, and for that I needed to read an adult fantasy. Not 100% sure this is adult fantasy, but I figure it's more epic fantasy, so I class it as adult. Might not be. Please let me know in the comments. Anyway, I'm going to be reading the third book in the Gentleman Bastard series, which is The Republic of Thieves by Scott Lynch. I believe that book 4 is due out soon, maybe? I don't know. I obviously can't tell you the synopsis of this, but basically we have Locke Lamora, who is kind of a thief, but he's kind of a good thief. Kind of not. I don't know how to explain you. How to explain you. Basically, I've been reading these. I'll try and put a synopsis, maybe. If I lean to this side, I might try and put a synopsis of the first book, The Lives of Locke Lamora, here for you to read. But yeah, these do take me a while to get through because again, it's another chonker. But I figure with only 6 books on my TBR for October, it shouldn't be too bad. That's 1 to 1.5 a week. So not too bad. So yeah, I know that the middle grade Animals of Farthing Wood and maybe the Tales of Unease are going to be really easy to sort of like slip in between reading all these big books, so not too concerned for that. So that is that's the last book on my Bookgammon TBR. So as you saw, we did not land on either the Star book or the Bomb book for the month of October. So I am going to flip a coin and see which one I land on. So here we have our coin, so let's flip it. We'll do heads for the Wicker King and tails for Midnight Sun. So Midnight Sun being the Bomb book, tails for the Bomb book, and heads for the Star book. So we got tails. Best out of 3. So I'm going to be reading the Bomb book for October. Glad that it's short, but I really wanted to read the Wicker King. Oh well. So yeah, I will be reading Midnight Sun by Joe Nesbo as well during the month of October. Now, as always, me and Charlotte will be continuing our buddy reads for October, and we are currently making our way through the Throne of Glass series by Sarah J. Maas, and in October we will be moving on to book 3, I believe, Heir of Fire. So we have both been really enjoying reading this series. It is the first time for Charlotte reading this series, but it is a reread for me, and I am thoroughly enjoying being back in this world and seeing all those little foreshadowing clues that I obviously missed the first time reading this. So yeah, I'm very excited to be moving on to book 3. But also, a few months ago, just before we started Throne of Glass, we buddy read a book called Defy the Night by Bridget Kemmerer. And during September, the sequel, Defy the Dawn, was released. So we both have our copies, and so I suggested to Charlotte, hey, do you fancy doing 2 buddy reads in October? So she said yes, and so we will hopefully be buddy reading Defy the Dawn by Bridget Kemmerer as well. So that is an extra 2 books on my TBR because of reading 2 books with Charlotte. Also as well, the Waterstones Book Club that I'm a member of has chosen the Pallbearers Club by, is it Paul Tremblay? I will put it on the screen for you as our book club pick for October. So hopefully I will be trying to get that read as well. So that is it. That is my October TBR. Are there any books on my October TBR that you are reading in the month of October? Would you like to buddy read any of them with me? Let me know in the comment section below the video. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!